He who fears that he will suffer is already suffering because of his fear. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and yes, good morning to you all.
Good morning.
I stand before you today on this Friday morning to give you a message that put an end to 2 decades of darkness in my life. A message from my friend Jaswinder Singh, whom I affectionately call as Jas. Now, Jas is not a mystic, nor is he a management guru. He is an auto rickshaw driver in New Delhi, in India. Now, before I tell you more, let me take you back to my childhood. As a 5-year-old, playing hide and seek at school, I see my friend Muthu hiding behind the door. I run to catch him, jumping over the bench, the chair, and the table that was nearby. And suddenly, I hear my teacher scream at me, "Karthik, stop! Don't run! You'll hurt yourself!" I froze in my tracks and stood there, terrified, looking at Muthu run away from me. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the first seed of fear that was planted in me. As years rolled by, at 14, I never rode a bicycle, fear of falling. At 18, I never proposed to the girl whom I loved, fear of failing. I blenched at every single goal that came my way. Ladies and gentlemen, I realized that as I grew, as years passed by, not only my age, but the number of fears that I was collecting also increased. Until the 21st of August, 1985. The place was New Delhi, and I was in a boardroom in front of the board of directors of my company. I was about to make a presentation on the project that I've been working for 4 years. It was a very, very life-turning point for me. Success of my presentation would be a big promotion, an opportunity to head a division in my company. As I rose from my seat to start the presentation, my worst nightmare stared at me, my fear of public speaking. I stood there for 20 long minutes, trembling, drenched in sweat, mumbling and fumbling, and making a mess of my presentation. Obviously, my project was rejected, and I was dejected and depressed. Desperate, not knowing what to do next, I stepped out of my office and I started walking aimlessly that evening on the streets of New Delhi. Screech! An auto rickshaw came very close to me and stopped, almost knocking me out. And out popped a burly Sardar from the auto and approached me menacingly, shouting at me, "Are you crazy? Are you going to die?" I was terrified, with tears rolling down my cheeks. I looked at him and I said, "Yes, I want to die." Surprised by my reply, Sardar Jaswinder Singh came near me, helped me, consoled me, and then offered me to drop me at home. On that ride home in his auto rickshaw, I opened my heart to him. I spoke to him of my fears, of my failures in life. When I reached home, and as I was stepping down from his auto rickshaw, Jas looked at me and said, "Karthik bhai, tod do." What? Tod do, break it. Jas' words struck me like a thunderbolt. It was so simple, yet so profound. That single word made me realize that there is light in my life, and there is an end to all my agony. That single word made me realize that I have been all along accumulating fears. Each one a shackle I had put on myself until it crippled me that morning. That single word made me realize that it has to be me who has to break that shackle. It has to be me who has to free myself from that bondage. As a famous saint would say, bondage is of the mind. Freedom is also of the mind. The choice was always in front of me, but I never saw it. Ladies and gentlemen, that single word made me realize that action is required immediately. I started working on every single fear I had. Fear of water, I joined the swimming school. Fear of driving, I joined a driving school. Fear of public speaking, I joined Toastmasters International. And Toastmasters International helped me to break that shackle, that chain which had crippled me on that fateful morning. And I stand before you trying still to break it and free myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take that step today and break it. Break it now so that you can free yourself from your fears. Break it now so that you can light the torch of freedom in your lives. Break it now because the conquest of fear is the beginning of wisdom.